everyone, welcome to Raising Vibrations. This is Simon, and today I'm going to be sharing with you some of my thoughts regarding Venus transit in Capricorn, and basically just to kind of, in some way, shape, or form, allow us to understand the nature of the archetype itself, so we can form a better relationship to how this can affect us. And I feel at the same time, probably looking at some of the aspects that Venus will be making at this stage and how they are in some way, shape or form triggering evolutionary patterns that are really important for us at this stage, especially as we understand the nature of the human being. Okay, so maybe what I want to do first is clarify for you what I mean by the human being. The human being in itself, from my point of view and understanding, is that we as spiritual souls, etc., incarnate onto a dimension. And this dimension then is Earth, okay, or the ground, or the feminine energy. And then what happens is that we then have this physical body that relates us to all those experiences, okay? And then we carry with us all this energy that that is basically our karma. So the physical body kind of represents that in some way, shape, or form. So what happens is that when we look at astrological transits, for that matter, or any of the reasons for looking at astrology in itself, or any form of tool that allows us to deepen our sense of awareness and relationships to source, it gives us that capacity to recognize these patterns within ourselves and then readjust them in accordance with how we believe that life is supposed to be lived, as an example. So with Venus transits, in itself, they're incredibly important because they represent to us the need for us to inwardly value and look at the way that we see life, okay, our relationship to ourselves and then of course to others or other things. So whenever it goes through a sign, it then just promotes that archetypal theme that we can integrate into ourselves, that heightens our sense of ability to work with that archetype. So a simpler way to understand that is that Venus moves through Aries, we're going in a new direction, we feel this freshness, there's a desire to want to open up new directions, new energy, as it were. Venus through Capricorn is looking at the entire cycle that Venus has gone through and then integrating the need for more structure. Where is there a sense of structure within our lives? Capricorn is associated with structure. And the reason why is because it's the way that we are able to hold consciousness, right? A simple example that you can actually understand the nature of Capricorn is very easy in terms of taking a glass and pouring water into the glass, like Jeffrey Wolf Green would use the analogy. And the structure of the glass would shape the consciousness. And the same thing with Capricorn. It's the structure of our reality, the definitions, the womb, as it were, that allows us to, in some way, shape, or form, travel this etherical plane, okay? So physicality would be then associated with Capricorn, so the body. So Venus transits through Capricorn can be our relationship to our bodies, our relationship to our structures in our lives, and the definitions we use, and our conditioning. And then from that space, we can then understand the nature of the way that we are relating to our conditioning in our lives, okay? So if, for instance, Venus moved through Aries and we started a new entire evolutionary journey, right? We became rock climbers, as I used the example in the transits course that I'm busy doing at the moment. And you became a rock climber. By the time Venus reaches Capricorn, from an evolutionary perspective, the way in which you are responding to your reality is like, hey, I've been doing this for quite some time, right? Capricorn time. And now I want to be able to start maybe defining myself a new way. Maybe I want to take on more responsibility. Maybe I want to see myself in a new light that is one of authority in some way, shape, or form, but my own personal authority. So those new relationship patterns, Venus, become then in alignment with the nature of the sign that it's in. So our habits and our nature regarding definitions and ways that we want to shape ourselves, right? Does everybody follow when I'm describing this to you? So naturally speaking, wherever Capricorn is on your birth chart, as Venus moves through Capricorn, it will then also land in a specific house placement, okay? And then what you would do is you would look at that house placement, look at the sign, and say to yourself, okay, I have Venus transiting my 12th house in Capricorn, like for me, for instance. So a lot of my reality at this stage is about feeling into situations and circumstances where I'm having to surrender, to let go, to let it be, to have faith, to trust in something that is more essentially higher or powerful than my sense of identity, right? And then to allow that natural path to emerge and see what it brings, right? A natural ending, as it were, right? Something that's not directed by me, 12th house. So Capricorn then would represent how I'm responding to the structure of my reality and noticing how my definitions are actually dissolving and letting go as I respond to this reality this way. Now, the overall context of my own personal astrology chart is to actually dissolve all definitions and boundaries, right, between myself and others, which is why it's very essential for me to actually be very open and vulnerable to you when I do this type of video, and all videos for that matter, because it shows that I'm allowed to not only in some way, shape or form recognize I'm a human being and kind of in some way, shape or form develop my sense of humbleness, but at the same time to be able to make a connection with you and for you to feel the work that it is that I'm trying to share. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of words. So that would be something that by sharing with you right now is my Venus in Capricorn 12th house experience, like opening up, allowing myself to be more vulnerable and less directed and more sharing in that sense. And of course, you can do this with your own chart, right? So, Venus is moving through wherever in the house system, and you look at that. Now, if you know your chart, then of course you'll be able to have a deeper understanding or relationship to that transit. If not, then I would recommend actually spending some time analyzing the nature of your own karma, not for any other reason other than just to create a deeper sense of understanding regarding yourself, so that you actually develop a relationship with self-empowerment. So again, what has naturally and organically happened in this conversation is that many people are probably coming to this video and saying, oh, okay, Venus in Capricorn, what does it mean? This is my intuitive response to it. This is how I would feel that this energy works within our lives, okay? And so if you're looking for answers regarding how it's going to affect you and what type of aspects are going to be made, I will be mentioning that, but this is more of a feeling orientation around this archetype, okay? So I do apologize if you still haven't got the information that you're seeking. That is, of course, your own desire in this case. And I'm noticing that I'm running that commentary in a way where it's psychically picking up on those kind of thought patterns and sharing them. And I think it's healthy for me to share that as well regarding the nature of my own communication and the nature of my own personality as well. Coming back to the core of my message over here. Okay, so the evolutionary intention of Venus in Capricorn as it makes these conjunctions with Pluto and Mercury most recently, and obviously the squares that it's currently making with Uranus, are very important for us to recognize that over the last, like I said, 2 to 3 years, okay, we must always take into context bigger evolutionary cycles. Because the context of the evolutionary cycle that takes a longer frame doesn't actually get seen in the physical until Mars and Venus has actually made those entry points into those relative places. So as Mars is transiting through Scorpio at this stage, it hasn't been there since Saturn has left, implying that we're making new evolutionary choices in alignment with the structure of reality that Saturn has already presented to us over its arc, right? So we haven't actioned that yet, meaning that we haven't actually created or anchored the currency or the energy into the physical body, showing us what that work's been about. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing, of course, is that Venus will always be ahead of Mars to a certain degree, where we're reshaping our value systems in accordance with these new directions. So Venus has already been through Scorpio. It's already done all those things. Now it's been through Sag. It's now in Capricorn, conjunct Pluto, as Mars is in Pluto as well, as Mars is in Scorpio. So there's this double element that's occurring here where the nature of our belief systems, because the ruler of the ruler of Pluto at this stage is Saturn. Saturn's in Sag, so therefore Venus and Mercury and Pluto are all currently being evolved through the archetype of Sagittarius, which then, if you have a look at the ruler of Saturn, Saturn is in Sag, so we know that that's Jupiter. Okay, Jupiter rules Sagittarius. Therefore, Jupiter conjunct the North Node in Virgo is what? It's facilitating the natural self-analysis, self-improvement, the integration of the practicalness regarding these energy cycles, right? We're actually bringing it into our physical, which can be very intense for many of us at this stage because, you know, for a lot of us, we've been so into the higher dimensional enlightenment area that when we recognize that a lot of the energy work that we're supposed to be doing on Earth as a human being is to ground emotional energy and integrate it into the physical so that we can then operate from more healthy karmic perspectives. But if we're just in enlightenment, consistently spinning around over there and not doing this inner grounded work as well, or not creating the balance, then it doesn't matter. These archetypes will come through, they'll play out certain scenarios, you'll be very emotionally confused and frustrated in all of them. Eventually they'll lead to certain experiences. But again, the point here was that these large evolutionary cycles of Pluto square Uranus, Saturn moving through Scorpio are coming to this completion end. So as Mars moves through Scorpio, it's letting us know of the final touches, and Venus's movement through Capricorn is allowing us to then structure this new reality that we have been working with, this new formation. We're learning how to now coexist in these new arenas, these new definitions. Okay, and you can just observe your life and notice how you've reconstructed and reshuffled things, and now you're looking at the nature of how to redefine the direction you wish to go in. So it's a very influential period of time at this stage, and I highly recommend that. This is also a period of time where the need for valuing slowing down. So at this stage, I mean, I've been trying to get out YouTube videos, sharing context, sharing my thoughts, etc., like every single day, and I've managed to do 2. And it kind of it's really frustrating for me because, again, at the end of the day, I'm really wanting to do this as my passion. I love to do this. And yet simultaneously, I just get all these other karmic blocks putting in place that's stopping me from doing that. Yet, as I surrender to the process, Venus in 12th house, I get these deep inner wisdom and insights that are coming through that are really profound, and I'm having a great time experiencing them, but the little ego wants to go, come on, come on. So interesting side notes over there, but again, the reference point being the necessity for slowing down and deeply reflecting upon one's own inner self-identity and observing where your conditioning patterns in some way, shape, or form hold you in limitation. If you don't have these things, that's amazing. And it's helpful to be in that space as well. Okay, everyone, thanks very much for allowing me to share my thoughts with you today. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. And just to let you know, coming up is subscriber chart readings. I'll get that done. It's episode 4. Really excited about that. Virgo Pisces part 2 is coming out. Nice kick-ass discussion around the nature of how those nodal shifts in Virgo Pisces are working. And lots and lots of other things on the agenda at this stage. And for any of you that have been trying to access my website at this stage, for some random reason it's down, I don't know, I'm looking into it, and I'll get that information or fixing it as we go. So if you're looking to book readings and so on, or looking to participate in the Transits course and class, then if you just email me directly, I'll be able to sign you up for those, okay? All right, guys, have a fantastic week. Take care. Bye-bye.